Hello everyone. This video I will convince you to join the dark side. Okay, so my name is Smia, or Tasmia for full name, and I am the founder of Nerd for Healing, and I run Yedge Healing Space in the Breakup Roadmap. And today I'm going to talk about matrix morality and why being good can be bad and why being bad can be good. So if you followed my work for a while, you might have seen me talk about matrix morality, which is attachment to being a good or bad person. And in my opinion, having an attachment to being a good person can actually be detrimental. And the reason why it can be detrimental is there's a couple different reasons, but I think the main one is that it decontextualizes behavior. So something is either always good or something is either always bad, and if you also take into account the context of every situation. So, for example, I had an arc of demonizing my own anger. So whenever I got angry, I would think of it as a bad thing and then try to suppress it. And then I didn't realize that the good side of anger was that it showed me my boundaries and allowed me to stand up for myself. I also thought, like, for example, that keeping score was a bad thing. So I would try just to be generous all the time and not keep score, but give and take. And then when a situation got to be so much where I was like overgiving and just going off my program of like being a good person by being generous, I didn't see that by actually keeping score of the give and take, it allowed me to see where it was actually an imbalanced relationship. On the flip side, things that we think of as good. So, like I had a program of I needed to be like a good friend and always be there for the people around me. And then I didn't realize that sometimes in doing so, I wasn't being there for myself. So it was actually like a negative thing to always try to be there for other people. So the thing is, like, how matrix morality develops is from a young age, from society, right? Like, we get praised for being a certain way, being a good girl, being a good boy, whatever, getting the good grades, etc. And then we get shamed or face some kind of negative consequence for like not behaving to a specific standard. Like, for example, maybe you got shamed for being lazy, and so now that's a pretty common one in society in general. We live in a capitalist society which always values productivity. So laziness is something that's shunned. And the thing is, like, when the things that we deem as unacceptable kind of get repressed. This is something I've talked about in, like, the unconditional love and the insecurity. The things that we are ashamed of, they get repressed, and they're still there, but now we just don't want to look at it. So by owning our dark side, we actually become a better person because we're kind of aware of these behaviors. If we repress it and don't want to look at it, it still comes out, but in a way that we're not aware of. So if we're attached to being a good person, if someone says something like, oh, the thing that you said came across as kind of rude, we'll get defensive because it threatens our image of ourselves as a good person, and we're less likely to look at the behavior because it triggers our shame. So by kind of collapsing like this attachment to being a good person, it allows ourselves to actually look at behaviors in a more neutral way. Because all behaviors, by labeling things as either good or bad, like, it ignores that every behavior has a context for it. And like, if we understood the context, then the behavior, no matter how bad it seems, actually makes sense. So an example of this is like someone being controlling. Like, obviously that seems like such a negative thing to be controlling, but usually controlling behavior arises from a childhood that was unsafe. So the need to control someone or the need to control your situation or your life is actually a way of being safe for that person who's controlling. So by collapsing like this good or bad or right and wrong, it actually allows us to have a lot more compassion for ourselves and for others. And it allows us to not have to repress a side of ourselves and live from having half of us at capacity. Because when we own the things that we see as bad, we can gain their strengths as well. Like, for the example of me owning my anger, when I got that back, like, I got a lot more of my power back as well. And when I, collapsed the need to that I needed to be a good person all the time, it's that Brene Brown quote of like, maybe it became less nice, but it became more kind because I was more authentic. I wasn't diminishing myself in order to be a good person because of like some programming that I had to be a good person. So, yeah, I guess that's matrix morality and why being good is not always such a good thing, and why being bad can be a good thing in a nutshell. So thanks for watching, and these videos, I used to do them weekly, but now I'm going to kind of do it whenever, so I'll catch you when I catch you. Take care. Have a good weekend.